Before we learn about the story of five people, we must go back in time to 1846, which started the Mexican-American War that lasted about 2 years and ended in 1848, with a great loss for Mexico. Not only did they lose the war and many soldiers, but they also lost 525,000 square miles of land, which now include the states of Arizona, California, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. And the only thing that Mexico gained was $15 million that the United States gave them in return for their land. Like many say, we didn't cross the border crossed us. We started seeing Mexican Americans as well as Mexicans fighting in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, and we started to hear the term Chicano, which means a person of Mexican origin or descent. But let's look even more closely to what it means to be Mexican. Based on the Merriam-Webster, they define it as native or inhabitant of Mexico, a person of Mexican descent. But what does it mean to be Mexican American? It means a citizen or resident of the U.S. or Mexican of Mexican birth or descent.
Hi, my name is Maribel Melendez. I was born in Mexico City and I immigrated here with my parents at the age of 6. Even though I was born in Mexico, I feel more connected to the American culture because I was raised here and I lived here all my life. I feel more like we are half and half because we celebrate some of the American traditions, but also some of the Mexican ones. Like for example, we celebrate the Thanksgiving, the Christmas here, but also we do the like the Cinco de Mayo thing. We don't really do, and some people here celebrate it. So whenever people ask me if I what I identify myself as, I definitely say that I'm Mexican. I was born in Mexico, because I'm not ashamed of where I came from, and I'm totally proud of my culture. But if you ask me if I rather live here in Mexico, I would definitely say here because I'm so used to being in America. And if I was to go to Mexico, then I would just probably visit. I don't think I could get used to the lifestyle out there.
My name is Fernando Peña. I was born in Chicago and raised in Mexico for 10 years. Yeah, here I feel the closest to is the Mexican culture because I grew up in Mexico. I went to school over there, and also because my parents are Mexican, so yeah. The traditions that I practice the most are the Mexican traditions, such as Dia de los Muertos, Dia de la Independencia. When people ask me where I come from, I always say that I'm Mexican. The reason why is because I grew up in Mexico for almost 10 years.
Hi, my name is Mariana Torres. I'm from Oakland. I consider myself Mexican American because even though I love my Mexican culture, I still love living here in America. Practice both Mexican and American traditions, but I think I practice more Mexican traditions due to the fact that my parents are Mexican. I identify myself as Mexican American, though I used to identify myself as more Mexican, but my recent trip to Mexico, I realized I'm more American due to the lifestyle differences and how I feel like I don't fit in as much over there as I do over here.
My name is Elaine Martinez. I come from Guadalajara, Mexico, and I immigrated at the age of 14 years old. I feel closer to my Mexican culture because I live like the majority of the time in Mexico. So me coming from Mexico, it was like a little bit different, and then it was like more complex for me to fit in. But then at the same time, I really like both places, but I feel more closer to my Mexican culture. Personally, I practice more Mexican traditions because I grew up with them, which means that I'm really used to them. And then, yeah, like everything they taught me is based on the Mexican culture. That's why it's more interesting and more easy for me to follow them and practice them instead of trying to fit in a place that I might not gonna be able to fit. So I just stay with whatever I have and whatever they taught. When people ask me where I'm from, I feel comfortable. I don't feel like weird because that's where I'm from and that's who I am, right? So I'm not like really paying that much attention to it. So yeah, at some point it doesn't really matter to me if they think I'm Mexican or not. So I just like whatever, right? I don't really care about other people thoughts. But then at the same time I feel like proud because when people ask me like, oh, where are you from? Like how long have you been here and stuff like that, I'm just like when I answer the questions, they are like kind of surprised because they were like, "Oh, you were like really fast to pick up the English and this and that," and so I'm just like, "Oh yeah." So I receive more compliments than negative stuff, and yeah, I would like to go back to Mexico. I like to travel like a lot, so why not? Maybe when I retire, I'll be there.
Hi, my name's Amrani Sanchez, and I was born in Oakland. I identify more with my Mexican culture because I was always so accustomed to being around Mexican people and the Mexican traditions. And even though I know that I'm American, I was always so used to saying, "Oh, well, I'm Mexican." When it comes down to traditions, I'm so used to the Mexican traditions and following those because my mom always said that I shouldn't forget my roots and my traditions from Mexico. But I also am so used to practicing the American traditions because I live here and I follow the holidays that everyone around me follows. When I identify myself with others, I immediately identify myself as Mexican. And that's why people get so surprised when I tell them, oh, I was born here in the United States because they always thought, oh, she was born in Mexico. But when I really think about going, if I ever had the chance to live in Mexico, I think it would be a hard time for me because I'm not fluent in the language and I'm not used to living the lifestyle over there, but I am more fluent in English and I'm really used to living in the United States because I've lived here all my life.